Hey guys, and welcome. We are the Strong and Chatty Chicks. We chat about women's health and fitness, and we aim to inspire and empower one chat at a time. I am Yvonne Alonso. I am a personal trainer of 17 years and a plant-based nutritionist.
And I'm Paula Headley. I have 20 years experience as a medical scientist, and I'm a public health expert. In your kind of long career as a trainer, what proportion of women come to you because they want to get strong, or they're really kind of focused on some kind of fitness habit that they're trying to develop, and how many come to you because they want to lose weight?
I would say the majority of women that come to me, they come with some sort of ideal number that they want to see on the scale.
I mean, I did.
Yeah. So they don't, of course, when we talk, I always have a consultation with every client that I start with to kind of get to know them, feel the chemistry, and also to ask them, so what are your goals, and where do you see yourself in this process? What do you want out of this process? I would say 98% of the women will always say, well, I weighed this in college or in high school, and I want to go back to that number. And it could be like we talked about, then it's like, okay, that's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's impossible to weigh a certain number, but I'm always like, but
you were a child then.
Yeah. I'm like, is that really what you want? Or is that because maybe it's the feeling that you had back then of being healthy, happy with yourself?
That's actually an astute observation. Yeah.
You know, that at that point you remember, well, when I weighed this and I was super happy and I felt really strong.
Because somebody else took responsibility for everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now you're attaching that feeling or those feelings of accomplishment and success to that number on the scale.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, and so, and if you, I would say, like, I always say that like half of my job is really mindset with my clients, because one thing is teaching them technique on their lifts and teaching them how to gym in general, but it's really about getting them to understand that the number is just a number, and that we add that value to the number. That actually what matters is body composition. For a lot of women, they've never heard that term before, which is basically how much of your body is muscle mass, how much is fat, fluids, etc., etc. And I always tell them, like, I actually don't care when we do a weigh-in, a body scan, which, by the way, is not 100% accurate. It just gives you something to start with and something that you can trend with. But I always go, like, your weight actually matters not at all to me. Like, I never look at your weight. What I look at is your muscle mass and your fat percentage.
Yeah.
And I want to see those two swap. Exactly. I want you to gain more muscle mass, because that is what is going to give you longevity and strength. And I want your body fat to drop to a healthy level, so for your hormones and for also your longevity and your health.
I mean, I think that
that doesn't sound sexy to a lot of women.
No, and I think it becomes quite complicated, and I think that we see a lot in social media, especially where people are selling really simple solutions to very complicated problems, and they are very appealing. Like, it's very appealing to think that I could just take this pill once a day, and then I will look like whatever Hollywood starlet I want to look like. That's, of course, not gonna... It's not going to work.
No.
Like, I'm never going to look like that. But I think when you then go to a trainer and they're like, oh, we want to talk about your body composition, and then we're going to talk about your health and how...
And building healthy habits.
Building a healthy habit, which is absolutely crucial, because as we've spoken about before, that what we want is to be happy, healthy, fit individuals in our old age. So, like, this is a long-term thing. And then I can imagine a lot of women are like, what? But, like, that person told me I could just take a pill.
Exactly.
Right?
But that's our society today, really. And like with so many things, but especially with fitness, this whole quick fix solution of, like, if you drink this in the morning and you do this, you're going to get that. And it's going to happen super quick. And the thing is, some people, of course, are super lucky genetically that they either are very slender by nature or they get very quick results, whether it's muscle mass or weight loss, and great for them. But for many, many people, and especially women, that road to what they want is going to take longer than they expected. But it's also breaking it down into bite-sized pieces along the way. But it's also like what I try to get them to realize, that your body is so much more than that ideal that you think you want, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said before, maybe that number on the scale back then gives you this idea of like, that's when I was really truly happy and felt strong. How about we first of all build a foundation where we actually do build strength at your core,
Yeah.
and build on that so you actually are strong, and you can see that every week you're deadlifting more, you're squatting more.
Yeah, you kind of concretely see and feel that your body is getting stronger.
Yeah, you're taking your groceries up in one go, you know?
Exactly. You can carry your kids.
Exactly. Yeah. And those are the tangible things that they can actually measure and see and feel.
Yeah.
And will hopefully, my goal is kind of to always override that ideal number in their head.
Yeah.
So that they see that number really doesn't matter if you're feeling strong, happy, healthy.
And do most women kind of come around to that in time?
I would say, yeah, many of them do. And I remember like when we started working out together, I used to offer meal plans.
Yeah.
And I still do. If people want to, for example, if they're getting ready for a specific deadline, like a wedding or something, then of course, if you want to lose a certain amount of weight to get from A to B,
then you program that in.
You need to then follow a meal plan so that you get to the goal that you want, right? It still has to be a realistic goal and a healthy one for me to do that.
It's so hard though, isn't it? Because, like the way that people eat is it's such a personal thing. And you have programmed my kind of eating plan before, and it went great. Like it went great. It was so much simpler for me, and actually it's something that I really appreciate, because just kind of going to the shop, deciding what I'm going to eat, buying that thing, coming back and cooking it, it's just such a mission. So having like that kind of programmed in actually made my life much, much easier. So I appreciate that, and it worked. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. But if you have somebody else living at home with you, you have children, you have all of these kind of, it becomes so much more complicated, right? Like your eating habits are not just your own eating habits. Like if you're eating when your kids go to bed because you have like all of these other things that you need to do, all of these other things that you're responsible for, then of course you're not like honoring your own hunger cues, for instance. Like you're eating when it's convenient for you.
Yes.
And then having a meal plan might be really useful because you can prep in advance, and then you have this thing, you can just pull it out of the fridge and you can eat it.
Yeah.
But for somebody else, then that might not be. It's such a complicated...
That's the thing. It's very individual.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important that, for example, in my case, it's personal training and it's a personal thing. I have to ask them, is this something that you can fit into your lifestyle? What is it that would work for you? Does meal prepping fit into your lifestyle? Do you see that as something that's going to be beneficial for you? Or is that going to be a stress factor? Because if it's going to be a stress factor, then let's not do that. Instead, then I'd rather they focus on learning intuitive eating, right? And think more of an 80-20 type of thing. Like, hey, throughout the week, focus on getting your fruit, your veg, your protein, and then on the weekends you can indulge on some things you enjoy without going overboard, right? Yeah. So it's really about building sustainable, healthy habits that suit your goals, because everybody's goal is different.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that in the next episode we're going to be talking a little bit about my personal experience. So we'll kind of expand on your approach to dealing with clients like me, or clients who have particular kind of conditions, in my case endometriosis.
Thank you for listening, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Tell your friends, share it with them if you enjoyed the episode. Follow us on Instagram at Strong Chatty Chicks. Stay strong.
Stay chatty.
Bye.
Bye.